All right, so before I go on the trip, I got a little bit of maintenance to do. Let's see, the last time I changed the oil in Annie, 24,000 miles. Oof, pretty much a year ago. So I know I do once a year oil on the bikes or 3,000 miles for the dailies. Um, for the track bikes, a little more often. But right now, I'm at 26,000 miles. So I'm going to go ahead and do the oil because I got a 2,000 mile trip ahead of me. So 26.6, I think the manual says for the valve check. I had planned on doing that this winter, but that didn't happen. Normally, wintertime is when I do some of the big maintenance items if I can, or I like to have a good project to keep myself busy. So I have my buddy Will's DRZ to do. So that's been kicking my butt a little bit. I've had some trouble with the electrical system, so I got some more parts on the way to work on that. So I didn't get a chance to do the valves on the Tracer before the big trip, but that's okay. Another 2,000 miles won't hurt it. So let's just take a look at the manual and see what it says for the valves. Okay, so that's just maintenance record. I wonder if it even has that in here. Periodic maintenance, valve clearance 716. So I also have a bunch of parts to go on the bike. So 26,000 miles. I'm gonna go ahead and do brake pads, sprockets, chain, oil filter, spark plugs. I got new tires to go on. I'm gonna lube the cables, got an air filter. So it's gonna be quite a bit of maintenance when I get back, but it's about time for some of these things. And while I've got the bike down waiting on the valves, I'll have plenty of time. So the tires for the trip, they look pretty good. I think I put these tires on at 16,000 miles. So they're doing pretty good. They're the Michelin Road 5s or Michelin Road 5s or 6, but these should get me through the trip. 2,000 miles, no problem. I'm gonna go ahead and put new tires on when I get back. I think the last set lasted me about 10 to 12,000 miles, so that should be about time. But yeah, let's get into the oil change. No, you can't. No, you can't be a part of the oil change. Yeah, so Sprocket loves to ride on my shoulders, but we're gonna have chemicals and oil around, so he can't be a part of it. All right, and y'all have seen an oil change before, so I'm not gonna narrate. This isn't a video on how to change your oil, but I'll just speed through this. All right, so let's see if I can remember how many quarts it takes. So oil change quantity with oil filter removal, 2.85 US quarts. 1, 2, and most of that one. So go ahead and get that added. Okay, so as we get close, we'll start looking at the sight glass, and you'll see it start to rise up here. So I'm gonna go, I didn't pre-fill the oil filter. You know, it's stuck on horizontally, so you can put a little bit in there, but if you try to pre-fill it all the way, you're just gonna dump it out. So I don't pre-fill the oil filter. So we'll watch in the sight glass, we'll add it till it gets to the top of the line where you're supposed to add, and then we'll run the bike for a little bit, get it through the oil filter, get that filled up, and then come back and top it off. I got one buddy, he uses a graduated cylinder and puts out exactly how much it says in the manual. So this one says 2.85 quarts. He puts in exactly 2.85 quarts, and he always gets roasted for that. You know, you've got the sight glass, just use it. It's not a super big deal. You want it in between these two lines. It's a pretty generous, you know, window of where you want your oil. I always try to get it, you know, closer to the top than the bottom. This bike doesn't burn oil that I know of, but I'd rather have more oil than less oil for sure. So let's go ahead and get this topped off. So let's go ahead and get this topped off to the upper line on the sight glass. All right, so I got our oil there to the top of the fill line. You see you got a little bit of air gap. So let's... All right, so let's get our mess cleaned up a little bit. I don't know if y'all seen those auto care guys that have the vacuum and everything. They do the mobile oil change and like vacuum up the oil out of the pan and use the vacuum, so when they pull out the drain plug, nothing gets on their hands. I don't know. Tell me what you think of that. I think it's a little much, but you know, you got your neat freaks, and he's like wearing white bands and everything. Gotta respect the hustle though. So let's open up the garage, start the bike a little bit, and let it run. I'm pretty sure if I start this on the center stand, it's going to throw a check engine light for ABS. So let me drop this down off the side stand. So let that sit. Close the garage back because it's kind of cold outside. And then also need to do chain maintenance. So hopefully y'all can see that back on the center stand. Some more will drain down, but we're right at the bottom. But the sight glass will let that settle. Clean this up. I always had, so I got a lot of vehicles that I manage the oil on, right? Like I said, once a year, 3,000 miles for the bikes, 5,000 miles for the cars. I got the generator, the mower, the pressure washer. I don't know, every two to 4 years on those. Those don't really matter. It's more expensive, and they really don't get used that often. But you know, when you've got that amount of vehicles that you're keeping the oil changed on a regular basis, it just really stacks up. So I used to carry them to the dump in the jugs, but it just became such a hassle. So I got this gas can, and I've loved having this for all my oil, which is kind of full right now. I get it like that, and then I'll like zip tie this open and just pour the oil in, and this holds 5 gallons, and I can take it to the dump. And they've got an oil disposal bin that I throw it in there, and it's really not an issue. It's pretty clean. Don't get a lot of drips. So this is set for a little bit now. It's halfway. I mean, I'll probably add a little bit more. You know, if the manual said 4.85 or sorry, if the manual said 2.85 quarts, were 2.5, so we'll add a little bit more. I didn't really let it drain very long. It wasn't super dirty, but we'll just add a touch more to the bike. And I'll be honest, I don't know if it's check it on the side stand or check it straight up and down. It's usually check it straight up and down. I just gotta find where my funnel went. Trying to do this one-handed is not my favorite. All right, so we're good. To find the rivet master so I know where I'm starting, and I always go towards up and around so the kind of has time to soak in places. And I'm really targeting the O-rings, right? I want the outside to look nice, but the O-rings is what keeps the chain happy. So I'm really trying to get the dirt and grime out of the area around the O-ring, because I don't want one cut, and I don't want water getting into the rollers, and I don't want the grease getting out from the rollers. So it's all about keeping the O-rings happy, and if you get a pretty looking outside of the chain along the way, well then that's just a bonus for you. Okay, so pretty liberal use of the WD-40 there, but then take the chain brush and just scrub. Not too heavy, not too light. And then, so that was the top side, or the outside sprocket, so this area we scrubbed, so now we'll go along the inside. And yeah, don't do this while the bike's running. And I was cleaning the inside of the sprocket one time, and I had my thumb here, and one of the sprocket nuts came around and like jammed my finger. I lost that nail, or half that nail, for like 4 months, so just watch your fingers. At once. You can see how nice, hopefully you can see how nice that's cleaning up. Now I got another buddy who takes a toothbrush and he goes in between each link and gets the grime out of there, like, you know, floss, and get it looking super pretty, but I think he's more OCD than I am. For the daily rider, I'm not doing all that. So yeah, now I'm gonna just clean some of the grime off the sprocket. This is where you really want to be careful about where your fingers are. You'd be surprised how much force you can put with your other hand if you're trying to work too quickly or just don't know where your fingers are. That's how I got my thumb smashed the other time. So yeah, it seems weird. I'm gonna, you know, clean the sprocket off just to replace it when we get back, but you know, it's the details. Okay, so what was that, like 3 minutes that took to do? Looser rather than tighter. Like, I'll say that. So I think the spec's 55 millimeters of play or travel, and that's probably close, but I might tighten it up a hair. I think I might tighten it up a hair. That might be more than 55. We'll measure too. I haven't found something much better than WD-40 for cost, quickness. There's videos on there. It doesn't hurt the O-rings. That's a myth. You can argue in the comments if you want. You know, there's a guy, Long Haul Paul, BMW had this super long life chain that was supposed to last 100,000 miles or something crazy like that, and I think he put 30,000, like no maintenance, right? Like supposed to last however many miles it was, 30, 60, 100,000 miles, no maintenance for a chain, and he put it on, and I think after like 20,000 miles, 10 or 20,000 miles, he had to pull it off because it was clunky. So this is something you can't really skip. All right, and now we got a mostly shiny wheel. Maybe my next daily will have a shaft drive and I won't have to worry about that. So Annie, 24K, 113, actually to the day. So that means all I gotta do is put a 6 there. And then 26K, even, we'll call it. 26, 113, 26. And all my vehicles have names. They just do. I guess it's kind of dumb, but tell me if you got a name for your vehicle. Like I said, we check it. I just got the Motion Pro Slack Setter, but I'm not gonna fuss with that right now. I'm gonna check it the old-fashioned way. Okay, book. Oil filter. Torque the oil filter to 13 foot-pounds, no chance. Coolant, throttle play, tires, cable adjustment, brake pads, chain maintenance. Okay, so this one is actually check on the center stand. A lot of bikes are check on the side stand. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but this one is check the center stand. So 35 to 45 millimeters of play, so kind of right under the passenger peg. Total play 35 to 45 millimeters. I think I said 55 earlier, but I think the community has said that is too tight. So we're gonna shoot for 45 or a little above that, 45 to 50. Let's go with that. Okay, so I take my ruler right under the passenger peg. So right now I'm at, let's see, I can't read it on the scale, but so right now we're at 80. We'll call that 85, and then the highest I can put it to is 35. So 85 minus 35 is what? 50. So what did I say? 45 and 50? Let's just leave it. Let's just leave it. I'm going to have this thing loaded down with a lot of weight. So that means my suspension travel is going to be higher, which is going to tighten up the chain some. And then when I hit bumps, it'll tighten up that much more. Because as your swing arm goes down, the distance between that point, the center of your rear tire and your center of your countershaft sprocket gets less. So your chain gets looser. And then as your swing arm travels up towards your undertail, the distance between the center sprocket, the front sprocket, and the center of your rear sprocket, that gets longer. So your chain needs to tighten up. So that's why you want to have it a little looser than tighter, is because if you hit a big bump, you don't want your chain limiting your suspension travel. So let's just leave it. Okay, so yeah, let's do a coat of wax because I don't want to lube it on the road. And when we get back, new chain, new sprockets are going on anyway. So let's just do that. All right, and we'll do some record keeping here. So I've actually done the oil way more than I've needed to. So 632, that was break-in, and then 4,000 miles right on schedule, and then 6,500 miles. So that was a little soon. And then 10,000 miles even, I think, because I hit 10,000 miles even, and it felt like a good time to do it. And then 13,000 miles right on my schedule, 3,000, and then 16,000 miles, 3,000, 19,000 miles. 22,100, and then 24 last year. And then I really haven't been riding this bike that much because I got that K truck, and so I've been driving the K truck around and back and forth to work. So the bike's kind of not been ridden as much. So I've only done 2,000 miles this year. So then 113, 26,000 miles. Me oil, and I'll probably do another oil change when we get back. Honestly, maybe I won't. We'll see. Like I said, I think I'll have a lot of downtime with the valves because I'm not going to order a shim kit. I'm just going to order the valves that I need and save some money there. I think a shim kit's like 100, 150 bucks. So at this point, just kind of rambling. So what's left? The coolant, right? So let's just check that and make sure the reservoir's got some in it. It's going to be cold. It's going to be 30 something to 50 degrees. But if we're in traffic in Miami or something, I don't want to be overheating. And actually, I don't think y'all are going to be able to see this, but yep, it's right at the full line. All right, so rear tire first. Tire pressure's under here, probably 42. Yeah, 42 for full luggage and passenger, so that's what we'll put it. We won't have a passenger, but we will have full luggage, so let's do 42. It might already be there. $36. So it's 42. All right. And then the front, 36. So we'll do the front there. And I think I filled these up the other morning because it's been warm enough to ride a little bit. It's December. No, it's yeah, over winter holiday. It was like 80 degrees, and so I got the bike out a little bit just to make sure it still started. I've had it on the tender here and there, but I had the trip coming up, so I just wanted to make sure. So 36. All right.